Okay, looks like it's time to get started. Thank you everyone for joining our live lecture today. My name is Isaac and I'll be the lead instructor for today's workshop. And the topic for the workshop today is going to be how to create weather alerts by using text message. Okay, and we're going to learn how to automate all that through software. A couple things mentioned before we get started today. The first one being is you might have noticed I've muted everyone's mics, and the purpose of this is that way we can get through the workshop, and at the end of the workshop we'll go and open up the floor, and if you have any questions at that time you can go ahead, we can go over those. Another thing to mention is we're recording this workshop, so if for some reason we're going too fast or you don't catch a specific part, you don't have to worry. We're actually going to make this available to you later, so you can go and watch it at that time if you need to. Okay, so let's go ahead and discuss what technologies we're going to be using to create our weather alert service. Okay, so the first one is going to be Node.js. Okay, and Node.js is just our backend runtime environment for server-side JavaScript applications. And then we're going to be using Express to set up API, series of publicly exposed endpoints, which will allow us to communicate with our server. And that time we can send requests off to this weather API. Okay, and this weather API is going to contain different weather information. And today we're going to get the weather data on a particular city. Okay, and from there, once we get the weather data, we're going to schedule our software to send that weather alert to us every day via text message. We're going to use the Twilio API to be able to send a text message. Okay, so to get started, let's go ahead and come to this URL here, and let's clone this weather alert starter kit. So we'll just copy that. And I'll change directories into my desktop. I'll say git clone, and then I'll paste in that URL. Okay. Now we can change into our weather alert starter kit, and we'll open it up inside our editor here. Okay, so weather alert starter kit. Okay, so let's just go ahead and start at the bottom here, and we'll work our way up and talk about what's going on with the starter kit. The first thing we have is a Package.Json, and this is tracking all the different packages, modules we need to install to run this project. If you'll notice, we have one called cron, and this is responsible for setting up what's called a cron job. And a cron job basically is just an event that runs at a certain interval, once a day, once every 2 days, once a week. So we'll get into more of how that works down the line. Express is the framework we're using with Node to set up our API. Then we're going to be using this request module to send requests out to the weather API, and we'll use this Twilio client to send the text message with the weather information. Okay, next we have an App.js file, okay, and this is our main server logic. Okay, so as you notice, we've already imported all the modules that relate to what needs to be installed via our Package.Json. Okay, so how we can do this is we can just say npm install, and then it's going to reference everything in our Package.Json. It's going to install that in our node modules folder. Okay, and now that's available in our node modules folder, we're able to import those and assign them to these different variable names. Okay, so you might notice, that these imports, look pretty standard, right? Just acquiring by name. But then down here, we've got a couple configurations, right? And this is for the Twilio API. So Twilio API is going to require us to set up an account, and so we can get an SID and auth token, and we can use those with the Twilio client. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to twilio.com. If you don't have an account, you can sign up for one. So I'm going to just use a 10-minute email to sign up for just a starter account. Okay, so I'll go sign up, and I'll just say John Doe, and I'll paste in my email, and I'll do a password here. Okay. And I'll say I'm using SMS first. I don't have a project in mind for building. Let's do Node.js for our language, and then we'll just do less than 100,000 for potential interactions. Verify you are not a robot, and let's click on Get Started. Okay, so now it needs to verify we're a human. Okay, so now we have to enter our real phone number. So I'll go ahead and throw mine on in here. Okay, and I'll send that off. We'll just take a second or so. And as you might have heard, I got a little notification, right? So now I'll go ahead and put that in. 1454. Okay. Give our project name. We'll just say test. Okay, and from here, you can see we have our Twilio account set up. So we can go to Get Started, and we can get our Twilio phone number. Okay, so we'll grab a phone number here. It's going to ask us if this is okay. The only thing you need to verify, it does have SMS capabilities. If it does, we'll go ahead and choose this number. Okay, so now we have a Twilio number. Okay. More importantly, though, if we go to dashboard here, you can see that we have API credentials. And these are the credentials we're going to take, and we're going to put and assign as the real auth ID and auth token. Okay, just copy these in like so. This is how Twilio is going to verify who we are. Okay, so now we have a number to send the text messages from. Okay, and we've got all our configurations set up. Now we need to set up the cron job. Okay, and as I mentioned earlier, a cron job is simply an event that it runs on our server at a particular interval. Okay, and so in our case, we want our cron job to run once a day and just send out a weather alert to us. Okay, so let's go ahead and put a note here for cron job. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and create a new cron job. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to say new cron job. Okay, and then we have to pass in when we want this to run. Okay, and this has got a couple different placeholders which we need to fulfill. Okay, so the first three is simply the time. Okay, so I'm going to do the time in seconds I want it to run. So I'll just say 0. Then you put a space. Then from here, I need to tell it when to run, which at this point, we'll just say, okay, run in like 12 minutes at 9:20. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put 20 in here for the minutes. We'll put space and we'll put 9. Okay, so now we'll run at 9:20 and exactly 0 seconds. Okay, so from here, we need to tell it when to run this. Okay, and we can specify specific days of the week, specific days of the month, that kind of thing. But because I want it to run once a day, I'm just going to put star, star, star. And that will make it run once a day at 9:20. Okay, so from here, I want to go ahead and I want to pass in a callback function. Okay, and basically, this is the function that runs whenever it reaches 9:20 each day. Okay, so down here, I just need to specify the time zone. Okay, so my particular time zone is going to be Los Angeles. So I'm going to say America / Los Angeles. Okay, and if you're not sure of your time zone, you can look up different cron job time zones online. They'll tell you how to, what to put for your particular zone. But now we can go ahead and we can pass in our logic to run each day. Okay, so first thing we want to do is as soon as it hits this particular time, is we want to test it. Okay, so let's just go ahead and let's run a simple console log. We'll say success. Okay, and you can see it's 9:10 right now, so let's just do 9:11. And we'll run our server. Oops. Looks like oh yeah, I need to pass in quotes with this as it needs to be a string here. And then we'll just put 9:12 instead. Okay. Let's go ahead and save that, double check, should run every day at 9:12. And right now, I'll just run this console log. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's try that again. Okay, this time it was successful. It's running now. So now we just got to give it a minute or so. And once it hits 9:12, we should see that console log run. Okay, so let's just give it a bit of time and make sure that our cron job's working. And if our cron job's working, we can simply add our request to the weather API. And once we get the data back, we can send that off in a text message to ourselves each day. All right. So, hang tight, and this should go through pretty soon. Okay. So as you can see, as soon as my clock hit 9:12, it ran this particular operation, right? And so now we know that that's working correctly. We can now make a request to the weather API each day at this time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to openweathermap.org. If you don't have an account, you'll need to sign up for one. And once you sign up for an account, let's go ahead and go to the current weather data API doc. And we can see that they let us know, we can query by a couple different things, right? City name, ID, geographic coordinates, so on and so forth. So today I'm just going to keep it simple. We'll just query our city's name, okay? And as you can see, they give us really simple examples of how to do this, right? So I'm just going to take this example here, and instead of a console log, we're going to use the request module here. So we'll say request, and then we will request that endpoint. Oops, so HTTPS//API weathermap.org. And then instead of querying London, I'm just going to say Oakland, California. But let's say US instead of California. There we go. Okay. And then from here, I need to go ahead and I need to know what format to return the data in. And because I'm working with a Node app, I want to return in JSON format. So I'm going to say and mode equals JSON and app ID. Oops. App ID equals. This is going to be where our API key comes into play. So after you sign up for an account, we can go ahead and we can sign in. From here, we can go to API keys. We can see that they provide us with a key. So we'll go ahead and we'll pass that in as the app ID. Okay. So from here, it's either going to produce an error or a response with a body. Okay. And then we kind of want to do some error handling. So we'll say if there is an error, then let's go ahead and console log that error. Else, if there's not an error, oops, my else looks a little bit funny there. Let's see here. If my else still looks odd. One second here. Oh, here we go. I got a question mark here. That was affecting my color coding. There we go. Okay, that's better. So if there's an error, we'll console log it. But if there's not an error, we need to take the data we get back and we need to send it with an SMS. So let's go ahead and let's just console log what's sent back to us. Okay, so let's go and say console.log. And we will take the body that's sent back in JSON format, and we'll parse that. Okay, and that way we can see the results. So let's go ahead and test this again. It says 9:16 right now, so let's just go ahead and run this at 9:17. Let's save all and run our server. And at 9:17, it should make a request to this endpoint and return that data, and we should see that console logged here. So let's just give that a minute to do its thing. Okay. So as we can see, at 9:17, it executed that query, and it got the weather for Oakland, right? And now we can take the description sent back, and we can send that to ourselves in a text message. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's set up our SMS. Okay, so I'm going to do is this, and we'll create a variable for the body. Here. Okay, and then we'll create a new SMS by using our client here. Okay, and we'll say client messages create, and we'll pass in the body of the message, which we'll say today's weather. Oops. And that's going to be here we go. The body dot weather index 0 dot description. Okay, and then we have to say who it's from and who it's to. Okay, so I'll say it is to the my number, right? So I'll just put in my cell phone number here. Okay. And it is from my Twilio number. Let's go ahead and go back to our Twilio account. And let's grab the number here. And as you can see, it's this simple setup here. So I'll pass that in. And we just need to get rid of the dashes here. Doesn't need any of those. Okay, so each day it should make a request to this endpoint, and it should text us that information from our Twilio number. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see, it's 9:19. So let's go ahead, set this up. Okay. So it's running. So we'll just give ourselves a minute for it to hit 9:20. Oh, okay. So here we go. As we can see here, it is sent us a message, right? Letting us know that the weather is clear skies today. Okay, and now we have our service set up to where every day at the same time it will send us the weather report, and it'll let us know. So each day now we don't have to go on the news, we don't have to check the weather. We're just going to get it automatically sent to us each day using this service. And that concludes today's workshop. So let's go ahead and open up the floor, and let's see if anyone has any questions over what we've been over so far. Okay, so the floor is open. If you have any questions, feel free to ask those now.
Is this something that we need to recreate very soon? I have no idea what you just did.
No, you don't have to recreate this. The purpose of the workshop is for you to see the technologies within our curriculum used to build real-life projects.
Okay.
So, for example, you might have not been introduced to Node and Express yet, but you will be introduced to it by the time you are done with camp. So maybe it doesn't make 100% sense to you right now, but the exposure is what we're looking for. And
okay.
And this is really how it is on the job all the time, right? Like we teach you so much in school, but you go on the job and they're like, you know, tend to have you build something that you've never really seen before. So it's good to kind of see these things working, and then when you run into them later in the curriculum, you can always come back and watch this recording later, if you know, and say, oh, okay, now it makes more sense. Now we've actually gone over Node and Express and all that. But yeah, the workshops are going to be random, as far as sometimes they're going to be about React or Angular or Node, right? They're always going to be about JavaScript.
Okay.
So that's the thing. They're always going to be centered around the curriculum you're learning. But at the end of the day, we try to keep it random, and that way it's a little more real life, and it doesn't get so boring for you guys to read the curriculum and then go to a lecture where we just tell you the same thing over and over again. It's better for you guys to see how this could be used in a real life application.
Okay, now where would this be posted at?
These videos are available on your student repo. So I'll email you the link after this if you don't have it. But all the video recordings are going to be available at your student repo link, which you should have got in one of your million emails when you first started. So I'll
okay,
just
I don't remember seeing it. The only place that we have had previous videos posted is at our Exeter dashboard. And yeah, I don't think I have gotten any emails on the repos, but okay, I'll look for that. And also, will we have this workshop like this then weekly from now on? Because it's the first one that I've ever gone on to since I started from March 19. So this is going to be going on, or is it only during when we have lecture or have class with you?
I don't understand your question. Are you asking when the workshops happen?
Yeah, is workshop regular, like a weekly event now that
Yeah. So we're going to start doing workshops on a weekly basis now. That's correct.
All right, and it's always going to be with you, and it will be posted on the, or we do it by scheduling, like how I did with you. Is that how it's going to be? So
yes.
To make sure that I get on like once a week, so there's going to be a new workshop every week. Is that am I understanding correctly?
Yeah, there's new workshops every week.
Okay.
And we offer around 3 a week right now, because some students can't make it on certain days, right? So you can always go another day if one day isn't good for you. But yeah, it's one of those things where they aren't required.
Mm-hmm.
We encourage you to come because you can ask questions, and that's really valuable. But at the end of the day, if you're an online student and you just can't make it to the workshop, feel free to watch the recording later, and then you can just arrange some office hours with the instructor if something didn't make sense to you, and you can always follow up with questions at that time.
And all three, I think I noticed there are 3 different time slots available for the workshops each week. are all 3 live sessions like this, and they are all recorded and they're all going to be posted, or just one of them?
Yeah, all of our workshops are going to be recorded.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And will there be more than one people? Or it's like whoever signs up for a certain time, they're all going to be at the one place, one session, right?
That's correct.
I'm just trying to understand. This is my first
Some
time.
days, yeah, like today, some days it's not really good for students in the morning, right? Some like it later in the day, and some people like you, it's better in the morning. So you're going to see that where sometimes we've got like 30 people and sometimes there's only 1 or 2 of you, but it's just kind of the nature of an online.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because I think the only afternoon one I saw was Wednesday, and I can't get on Wednesday at 3 p.m. So I have to get on the morning one. But now then, with my office hour appointment with you, should I then hang on to questions about this like right now? Because I have no idea about this at all, because I haven't, we haven't covered it in any of my my classes yet. So should I just hang on instead of just, have you recreate, almost like explain every single step of this during our office hour then?
Yeah, that's the best approach. Yeah, normally it's office hours are the time to, really get your questions answered. Normally it's something you're struggling with in the curriculum, right? Normally students are like, the final project, I got halfway through, but I got stuck here, right? I'm sure you ran into that once or twice. So that tends to be what office hours are mainly used for. Workshops, sometimes they're going to make sense, sometimes not, just depending on how far you're into camp. Obviously, the further you get into camp, the more the workshops will make sense, because you'll have been introduced to more and more material. And that's just,
so it'll be an opportunity to kind of see where all the things we're learning is kind of like put into a real work situation, creating a project like this.
Yeah, absolutely. And
makes sense.
It is one of those things, again, sometimes you feel kind of lost, but this is preparing you for the real world, because none of our students get out of here and say, oh, my employer had me use exactly all the tools I learned during camp, right? It's like, most of the time your employer is going to have you use some of the stuff you learned, but they're going to have you use pretty much all new stuff in a way too. So being able to adapt, being able to see these situations where it's like, I see him building a project, maybe I don't understand 100%, but I'm still able to somewhat connect the dots and follow along. And that's what's important. It's not a matter of, yes, I'm a master of this, right now, and I understand everything he's saying, because in the real world, you get thrown into these situations all the time where, you have to fix someone else's code, and you've never worked with a certain technology before, and you have to really, kind of just take what you've seen and kind of learn from that in a quick manner. But at the end of the day, that's why we have office hours and workshops, because we know workshops are very fast paced. They're not really meant to, go over things. They're really meant to just give you a short, sweet example of how to use this technology in real life. And then the office hours are more to where, we really mull over things, curriculum issues you're having, labs, projects, those kind of things, and really nail down what you need.
Okay. All right, then going back to the curriculum on our front end foundation class, that the curriculum I'm taking, there are hands-on exercises or codings that I don't submit to the Exeter, but I'm supposed to show to, I guess, one of the mentors. So do I go over those things with you, or because the other time I went online with Joy, and she said to show it to her, so I kind of showed everything that I've done at up to that point to her, and then she kind of put a grade on my grade sheet on the dashboard. So now and then I have like a couple more that I've done after that. So do I go over those with you during our office hours?
No, so mentors are much like teaching assistants, right? Where the instructors, as you can imagine, we have hundreds of students.
Okay.
So ideally, we would love to help all of you and grade all of you individually, but it's just not realistic.
Okay.
Kind of like a college professor. Most of the time,
Oh,
you
okay.
know, they do the teaching, but not so much the grading. And so that's kind of the structure we have here, where our mentors are really the ones you schedule a code review with each week and you turn your stuff into.
I see.
Um, and
Okay.
then the instructors, we're kind of like overflow. So if you know, for some reason your mentor's not available, or they're not answering your question fast enough, or something else, like normally the instructor is kind of the second person you come to. And the only
Okay.
reason being is because they're less available,
Okay.
right? Like, you know, you might arrange office hours with me, but there might be 15 other people who do too.
Mhm.
As you can imagine, the instructors are popular, right? Everyone thinks, oh, the instructors will answer all my questions. So everyone tries to sign up for office hours. But I always tell people, mentors are equally as knowledgeable. They can help you out too.
Mhm.
They just don't have the title of instructor because they maybe have a little less experience in, in the world of development. At the end of the day, that's why we just try to offer these kind of multiple support channels, right? Because sometimes your mentor won't be available, so you can ask your instructor, but then vice versa. And so that way, you never feel like you're unsupported.
Okay. All right. Yeah, this is all new, and you've explained it very well. I didn't even know the roles of each person. You know, the instructor, mentor. To me, you are all the same. You're up there, know everything. I don't know anything, kind of thing so far. But yeah, okay, that's very. Thank you for clarifying that, and I guess we're done.
Yeah, that's it for today. If you
Okay.
have any other questions, again, feel free to reach out to me or your mentor team. And
Cool.
besides that, have a great rest of your day and happy coding out there.
All right. Thank you very much. You do the same. Bye.